Hello, and welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are here to guide you through a couple of scary stories that we're going to tell each other for you to listen in on.
That's right. Continuing our trend of sort of legendary creatures, things that go bump in the night, this, that, and the other. You understand.
This sort of thing.
You understand.
Sure.
I will start this time.
Okay.
Kristen, this week I submit, for your approval, Will-O-the-Wisp. Will-O-the-Wisp.
It sounds nice.
I would have thought it was Will-O-Wisp. Right? Will-O-the-Wisp is what it actually is.
Yeah, Willow the Wisp sounds good. Sounds right to me.
In concept, little ball of light floating out there in the darkness.
Huh.
Kristen, before I said that at all, were you familiar with the concept?
I think I thought it was fairy folk.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, in the song Problem Like Maria from Sound of Music.
Wow. Yes. That's one of my notes. Yeah.
They're trying. Actually, this prompted.
They call Maria a will-o-wisp, yeah.
This prompted a tweet from me today, William. Because I saw that you were doing Willow the Wisp. Because as I told you.
Yeah.
We share a notebook thing on Microsoft. And I told Will he has to set it now so I can't, see. Because I was getting an email that's like, Will edited the file and it said Willow the Wisp.
Yeah.
And then it got the song stuck in my head. So I tweeted that it kind of sounds like those nuns are just in love with Maria. They're talking about she's such a problem, but she's a Willow the Wisp, which sounds kind of like, oh, she's like a rascal to me, like a fun one. And there's one part where they're like, how do you hold a moonbeam in your hand? I'm not gonna sing the rest.
Weird.
But it seems very longingly to me. The song's supposed to be that she's such a problem in the convent, but they seem to love Maria and just think that she's kind of uncontrollable.
But the concept of the lovable scamp, right?
Right.
Who's problematic, but he can be saved.
But I think that they're annoyed at her. I think that's the plot thing.
Maybe,
but they keep being how do you take a cloud and pin it down?
So then
how do you keep a wave upon the shore? It's Maria sounds kind of cool.
Just let that wave go out then, if you really hate it that much.
No, but it sounds like they love her.
When do they call her a will-o-wisp? What's the terminology?
Let me think. They're like, a something, a will-o-the-wisp. And then somebody's like, a clown or a clod or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, will-o-wisps are neither clowns nor clods, so I take issue with that.
Well, no.
Coming to get you, Rodgers and Hammerstein.
I think it's that they're being like, oh, she's this cute thing. And then somebody's like, a clod.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird, too, because will-o-wisps...
Or clown, I don't know.
Not cute things.
Okay.
No way.
Okay.
Will-o-wisps...
I may be misinterpreting How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria. Yeah. I haven't actually heard it in I don't even know how long, but it's one of those songs that exists in my head.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
If someday Platinum...
You've seen
I've never seen
music.
it.
Really?
If someday, Platinum Dunes does, a gritty reboot or something, I'll check that out, but...
What does Platinum Dunes do?
Platinum Dunes did the terrible Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th reboots.
Okay, alright.
And the decent Texas Chainsaw reboot. But we don't have to go there.
With Jessica Biel?
Yes.
Yeah. I know that it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
I know.
It's halfway decent.
Yeah. Eric Balfour?
Yeah, Eric Balfour is in it. He becomes...
I like Eric Balfour.
He becomes a Leatherface mask. Leatherface wears
right.
Eric Balfour's face in that movie.
Oh, God.
And he looks good.
It's probably a tight fit. Eric Balfour's got a slim build.
Oh, he's got skin pulled tight like a drum.
Ugh.
He does
Ew,
this.
I hate when people say that.
He does this to check... to make sure he's not aging or anything.
Does he actually in the movie?
Yeah.
It seems like something like a shitty guy who thinks he's hot would
That's
do.
something that some
if
early 20s guy in the 70s might do. Where we going next? Looking
I don't know,
at the
if in the movie he's about to go hit on a hot girl or something, I could see him in the bathroom being like, all right,
No, I don't even think the Fonz did that. He would check his hair, but
yeah.
The only person I see do that is Stephen Colbert. It's the only reason I even know what it is. Anyway, Willow the Wisp.
Yes.
Kristen.
Yes.
Is an atmospheric ghost light.
Cool.
Now, like many of these sort of mythological creatures, there are differing opinions as to what its goals are, what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
But one of the most common interpretations of it is that it is a little ghostly light. Floating out in the middle of nowhere. Trying to lure travelers away from safety.
Oh.
No matter what you do, if you follow it, it continues to move.
That is very cool.
It is unattainable.
Yeah.
You cannot catch it.
It's like Maria.
It's just like Maria.
I get this now.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I get this now.
Yeah, you get it. You get it.
Yep.
Try to keep up.
Her head's always in the clouds. She's always kind of on her own trip.
Yeah.
Will-O-Wisp.
True.
I got it.
Interestingly enough, the name Willow the Wisp has a strange etymology.
Do tell.
A wisp, Kristen, is a bundle of sticks or paper sometimes used as a torch.
That's not what I was expecting at all.
Why?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be like wisps of air.
It's like a
was
wispy
the wind
thing. Well, it is a torch, essentially.
Yeah.
A wisp is a torch.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be like not matter.
Yeah, wisps I think of being
Right.
like almost like the smoke that is above
Yes.
a match.
Yes.
Like that's wispy smoke.
Yes.
But no.
Or like those little portable toothbrushes. You know? Wisps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or, no, it's a torch. And Will-O-the-Wisp is literally referring to sort of like the goal.
Yeah.
The motivation of the torch. Will of the torch.
Cool. Where did this start? Do you happen to know? I'm just curious.
This version of it, I believe, is sort of like a European concept, sort of like Irish, Scottish, British. That's this. There are, just like when we did the Boogeyman,
not Irish, yeah.
there are a million other like concepts of Will-O-the-Wisp. I'll tell you some. I've picked out the ones that I find are actually interesting or have like some bizarre, quirk about them.
Yeah.
But what I thought was particularly interesting about this is that the term jack-o'-lantern has a very similar meaning, which is jack of lantern.
Yeah.
And as part of Will-O-Wisp, they just start talking about jack-o'-lanterns left, right, and center.
Really?
Yeah, which I was surprised about. We talked about jack-o'-lanterns back in the Boogeyman episode as well.
What did we say about them? I don't remember.
That one of the Boogeyman concepts was actually a thing called a cocoa.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah, it was like a coconut head or something.
A demon, is the reason we have the word coconut, which is crazy.
It's insane.
But it also refers to any gourd with a carved face or something.
Of course.
I definitely didn't already forget.
Yeah.
The names Willow the Wisp and Jack-o'-lantern are explained in folk tales recorded in many variant forms in Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, Appalachia, and Newfoundland. In these tales, protagonists named either Jack or Will, very specific, are doomed to haunt the marshes with a light for some...
haunt the pumpkins with a light inside them.
Sitting and enjoying the season.
Yeah.
Doomed to haunt the marshes with a light for some misdeed.
This is sweet.
One version from Shropshire,
of course,
is recounted by K.M. Briggs in her book, A Dictionary of Fairies, and refers to Will the Smith. Yes.
Will the Smith?
Yes. The Fresh Prince himself.
Yeah.
Will is a
that
wicked...
That ties in a little bit to mine in an interesting way.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Will the Smith.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Will is a wicked blacksmith who is given a second chance by St. Peter at the gates of heaven, but leads such a bad life that he ends up being doomed to wander the earth. The devil provides him with a single burning coal with which to warm himself, which he then uses to lure foolish travelers into marshes.
So he just wants to kill them?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You can't go to heaven.
I love Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah. There's an even crazier one here, which I think is primarily about Jack of Jack-o'-lantern stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is all to explain why. And this is an actual... I should maybe explain some of this background as well. This is an actual phenomenon that people have really experienced. Especially like... back before electricity, people would be traveling and then just see sparks of light off in the distance and not know what they were. And sometimes they would try to follow them to approach the light to see what it was, only for it to seemingly move away or dissipate completely. And they didn't know what it was. So the Will-O-the-Wisp became sort of the means of explaining this actual real-life phenomenon that people were encountering traveling. Yeah. So they came up with all these crazy stories about how Will-O-the-Wisp is trying to lure travelers away from safe passage. For what ends, don't know. Don't know.
Do you know what what are the lights that people were seeing? Is there any explanation?
There is an explanation for it. In something like 1778, there was a scientist who hypothesized that it could be sort of electrical, spontaneous electrical currents, almost like lightning.
Yeah.
Interacting. A curious thing about the Will-O-the-Wisp is that they are seen primarily by travelers at night, especially over bogs, swamps, and marshes.
Something to do with humidity?
Well, it has something to do with the methane gas produced by a bog. So the theory was lightning or some form of electrical spark ignites the methane. Puff of light off in the darkness that nobody can explain. It was widely discredited at the time because people thought that he was advocating for spontaneous combustion. Oh. Which people, I guess, in the late 18th century did not believe in then either. But then later on, something like 50 years later, another scientist followed up on his work and concluded that, that is part of what was happening. Cool. But there are other explanations as well. Yeah. Because there are animals and insects that have bioluminescence to them. They may have been catching the light of like an animal's eyes. Could look eerie in the dark.
Look when they glow.
But there are also things like a honey fungus or something like that, which I had never heard of, that evidently has somewhat of a glow to it. Depending on the angle that you're looking at it from, depending on a number of factors. But that is hard for a person in that time to determine what it is that they're seeing. Yeah. People were genuinely experiencing something that they could not explain. Yeah. And so the Will-O-the-Wisp is the means of coming up with a story about it and what it's there for. But it's interesting that it is sort of like a really not a super early occurrence of being like modern science can explain this thing that people at the time
tale for.
Yeah. But I also like that it's like, I feel like it's not as if it's like, I keep seeing this like a figure of a person in my home at night. What's that? And then science goes like, oh, well, here's why. Yeah. Like it's just like, that's just a myth and a fear. But this is like, people were experiencing something that was similarly ephemeral. Yeah. And incorporeal and creepy.
Or seemingly.
And then science came along and was like, we agree with you that happens. Yeah. Here's what it is. Yeah. Which I find very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool. I wonder if anybody was disappointed at all when they found that out. If there was anybody who experienced... Well, I guess you probably wouldn't...
It is sort of the shrinking of a world when you fill in any of those gaps. You know? Totally. We believe that there are these creatures out there that are trying to lure people away or punish us or lead us somewhere.
Because also, if
and now we know that that's definitely not true. Like, oh, hooray. The world's a little less fun.
Exactly. It's almost like when you find out that there's no Easter Bunny and then you're like, well, what about Santa Claus? Yeah. Because, like, if you're living in that time or you're that kind of person or that kind of culture or something where you believe things like that, then it is like, well, then what about this other weird thing? Could that not be real too? Like, that could like really mess with somebody's worldview.
Or were there civilizations that had been devastated by attacks of will-o-wisps?
Right.
And they're like, so
well, then who wiped out that entire colony?
Hank just walked into a bog? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Bogs.
Randy just got swallowed up by a bog. Alright. Wasn't a demon
seems like
at
a
all.
Horrible way to go.
Well, this is
sucked into like muddy, smelly quicksand, right?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is funny. Like, how many times have you ever encountered? They're all swamps, right? Yeah. Like, I guess there must be some reason why a bog is not the same as a marsh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And not the same as a swamp.
I've given this a lot of thought because I work right next to something that I don't know what to call it. Right, yeah. It's swamp-esque.
Yeah. Don't go near it.
I'm not planning on it.
Swallowed by the bog.
But it's also pretty. Yeah. So I have a hard time.
See, that's how they get you.
I know.
That's how the Will-O-Wisp lures you in.
I know.
The promise of some sort of intangible goodies.
I know. Well, there are a lot of turtles in there. Oh. I'd like to see them. Sometimes they crawl up on a board.
You get real close to them.
Yeah.
Climb into that bog.
But I was having a hard time.
What were you doing on your lunch break?
I followed a turtle.
Why, I was just clambering about in the bog. I followed a friendly will-o-wisp, and it led me astray, boss. Well, you won't believe this.
I just want to describe to people, I'm like, it's really pretty outside. There's really pretty view. It's a swamp. And it's like, oh, that doesn't sound
You're
great.
Like Shrek.
Yeah.
Get out of my swamp, donkey!
Get out of my swamp, donkey! I
want to look up some Shrek quotes, have you do them, and then overlay your voice on the footage from Shrek. Kristen redub.
Would be nearly as popular.
All right, here's a story.
Yeah.
It's not a will-o-wisp, but again, for some reason, a decent amount of my topics bring us right back to jack-o'-lanterns. I don't...
Works for me.
Yeah. So this is a story about how, I was talking about how most of these stories center around a protagonist named either Will or Jack.
Yeah.
This is one about Jack.
Yeah.
An Irish version of the tale has a ne'er-do-well named Drunk Jack or Stingy Jack,
Ooh.
who makes a deal with the devil, offering up his soul in exchange for payment of his pub tab. So this is
Man, it must have...
Irish tale. Checks out all right.
It certainly does. Also, Will and Jack are both very Irish names, so that's why, I guess.
You're right.
Yeah.
When the devil comes to collect his due, Jack tricks him by making him climb a tree and then carving a cross underneath.
What? The devil allowed that?
Preventing him from climbing down. In exchange...
The devil is a little more delicate than I would think in this tale.
You tricked me.
Yeah.
Devil's an idiot.
Yeah.
Devil's dumb as a stump.
Sounds like it.
Easy to fool him. Preventing the devil from climbing down. There's a cross there. In exchange for removing the cross, the devil forgives Jack's debt. So Jack just got his pub tab taken care of by El Diablo. Trap him in a tree. And you don't even have to pay the devil back. However...
Jack's really the devil.
Well, here's the thing, Kristen. You may be onto something.
Okay.
No one as bad as Jack would ever be allowed into heaven. So Jack is forced upon his death to travel to hell and ask for a place there. The devil denies him...
Do they have a cot free?
The devil denies him entrance in revenge.
Well, yeah.
But grants him an ember from the fires of hell to light his way through the twilight world to which lost souls are forever condemned.
That's awesome.
Jack places it in a carved turnip to serve as a lantern. We always said he was stingy, bad, or we never said he was smart.
That is stingy.
I shall place it in a turnip.
Yeah. I'm not going to give up any of my precious coins for a lantern.
Well, maybe he's no fool.
Maybe.
Another plus side, fresh cooked turnip.
Yeah, but then you eat your ember holder.
Oh, you just found another turnip.
Yeah, I guess
so. That's that they leave that out here, but I think that's part of the endless plight. He roams the world looking for more turnips.
Right. That's the way that's being lit. The way to more turnips.
Right, yes, exactly. Yeah. On the endless hunt for more turnips.
Right.
So, kicked out of heaven.
Yeah.
Kicked out of hell. Mm-hmm. Doomed to wander the earth. The story of Jack and his jack-o'-lantern.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
I love that.
Now let's get into some variations here. Okay. Because will-o'-wisps is the name.
Yeah.
However, they also go by spook lights, ghost lights, orbs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, I was thinking about that when I said, when you were talking about lights that travelers see and everything, I was like, I know I've seen stuff like that on Unsolved Mysteries, ghost lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not, I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that when they say orbs in this context, they're referring to the orbs that ghost hunters catch on film, because I think that they have their own separate story.
I think
but I do wonder if someday in the future, if we ever do orbs, we might find crossover.
We're going to do orbs, baby. Yeah.
Back to Willow the Wisp. Mm-hmm. But here are some cool variations.
Yeah.
In Asia, you've got Aliyah, known as marsh ghost light. Now again, so even when it's across the world, still associated with marshes and bogs.
Yeah, totally.
It's said to be, in Asia, the ghosts of fishermen who died fishing. Sometimes they confuse fishermen, making them lose their bearings, possibly leading them into the marsh. Well, now I'm turned all about. I shall have to walk into the marsh.
No, they fell out of their fishing boat.
Where they drown. Sometimes they help them avoid future dangers. Which again seems like one of those 50-50... someone wasn't playing ball with the myth.
It's contradictory. Yeah, like, Steve wasn't...
Yeah, Steve was like, I think sometimes they help you.
You're like, no, Steve, that's not what the Will-O-the-Wisp does.
We're all agreeing that it's trying to kill you.
I know it sounds nice, but toe the line.
Get with it, Steve. All right, Europe. Believed to be spirits of the dead, fairies, or basically just some supernatural creature that lures you to your death. Mm-hmm. Sometimes believed to be unbaptized or stillborn children.
Oof.
Flitting between heaven and hell.
Yikes.
So the reason we see them is because they are ever traveling back and forth trying to find some place.
Man.
Sweden.
That's rough.
Sweden agrees. The soul of an unbaptized person trying to lead travelers to water in the hope of being baptized.
Oh.
Now, that's a cool rub,
that is
right?
cool.
That they require something that feels much more aligned with ghost myth. The concept of like, you have some unfinished business.
Yeah.
This is an unbaptized child hoping to finally be baptized.
Yeah.
Can somebody save me?
Yeah.
The Danes, Finns, Swedes, Estonians, Latvians, and Lithuanians believed that Will-O-the-Wisps hid treasure. This is a common one we're going to see.
Okay.
Hid treasure, and you might need another artifact, like a dead man's hand, to find it. Now, the dead man's hand, also known as the Hand of Glory, grants light only to the holder.
Right.
Early autumn was believed to be the best time to hunt.
We're right in hunting season.
Yeah, we are. We're in prime hunting season.
Gotta get me a dead man's hand.
We gotta get some dead man's hand. Now, if you do want to get a dead man's hand, for the record, I did a little searching.
Okay.
Because maybe we'll also do some cursed relics in the future.
You know a guy?
Or something.
Oh, okay.
I know a guy.
Ooh, cursed relics.
How good would that be?
Yeah.
What I saw, because I don't want to do too much poking into the darkness. Right. I want to leave something for us to unearth later.
Right.
All I saw was the pickled hand of a hanged man.
Oh, I think I've heard that phrase before.
Must be pickled.
Yeah. Interesting.
He was only hanged. He wasn't pickled.
Yeah, this isn't going to do. Get it in some brine.
Well, I need brine. I need time. I need time to brine. You can't brine with no time. Anyway. In Britain, the light is fairy fire, held in the hand of a puka.
Ooh.
A small goblin-like fairy.
I know about a puka.
That mischievously leads lone travelers off the beaten path at night, as the travelers follow the puka through a marsh or bog.
I really liked fairies when I was younger.
The light is extinguished, leaving them lost.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you've gone through all this work. You've marched.
That is jacked up.
Following this light through the bog, and then... and now it's just still. And you're alone in the dark. And it's like 1750.
And
you're
in a
like,
bog.
I die in a bog!
Yeah.
Like my pappy and his pappy before him.
You're like cold and wet.
All my pappies
in a bog?
Get done in a bog. A peasant... Oh, there's a story. A story. A peasant traveling home at dusk sees a bright light traveling along ahead of him. Looking closer, he sees the light as a lantern held by a dusky little figure, which he follows for several miles. All of a sudden, he finds himself standing at the edge of a vast chasm with a roaring torrent of water rushing below him. At that precise moment, the lantern carrier leaps across the gap, lifts the light high over its head, lets out a malicious laugh, and blows out the light, leaving the poor peasant a long way from home, standing in pitch darkness at the end of a precipice. This is a fairly common cautionary tale concerning the phenomenon. As you also have to imagine, they're telling these stories a little bit to explain it and a little bit to be like, don't go marching out by the bog.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter.
Leave the bog alone.
Are you listening, Peter?
What? Peter,
you have to listen. Don't go to the bog at night.
Okay, I'll go to the bog tonight.
Oh, this kid... Now that's a good mid-17th century bog monster sketch. In Cornish folklore, pixie lights take the shape of colt pixies, they're called. And they neigh at other horses to scare the horses away.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? In Guernsey, it's known as Fabulanger.
Gesundheit.
Also known as rolling fire. That's how it translates, at least. 2 ways to stop it. 1, turn your cap or coat inside out.
Oh,
that'll stop it in its tracks.
That seems fairly simple. That's good.
The other, if you see rolling fire, take a knife.
Yeah.
Bury it in the ground with the knife blade sticking straight up. The rolling fire, the will-o'-the-wisp, will start diving on the knife, trying to kill itself.
Why?
It'll be completely distracted. You can go free.
Why does it want to do that?
Not sure. I did not find an answer.
Maybe if it's that will-o'-the-wisp, it's like a tortured, like, unbaptized person or baby stuck between worlds.
I just wish it was over.
I'm
cursed to roam the land. I just wish it was over.
Yeah.
I will dive on this knife.
Yeah.
And yet, it is a futile act.
Wow.
Scottish Highlands...
That's really scary. That makes me picture it just being like, bam, 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 on top of a knife, like, really fast, like, just trying to stab itself a million times.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Let me lighten things for a second.
Okay.
Because in the Scottish Highlands, he's known as Spunky.
Okay.
It takes the form of a link boy,
Link boy? What the
A
hell is
link
that?
boy. Now, what a link boy is, this is a job that we lost somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
It was a boy that carried a
Tended to your
lantern
links?
and would light the way for travelers for a fee.
Wow, okay.
What kind of job is that? It makes sense, but it's like,
Yeah.
I never knew that was a thing.
Boring.
Like, you'd be like, I used to deliver newspapers. I used to be a link boy.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway.
Guess it was like an Uber driver of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Spunky was also blamed for shipwrecks after being mistaken for a harbor light. So it would lead the ships into unsafe waters.
Cool.
Other Scottish folklore calls them omens of death, or ghosts of once living human beings, which often appear over lochs, or on roads along which funeral processions were known to travel. Mexico, known as brujas, which literally means witch.
Yes.
But they believe that they transform themselves into the shape of lights. Also, they believed in the luces de dinero, which literally means money lights. They thought that that was an indication of where money or treasure was buried. Can only be found with the help of a child. In Louisiana, we have fille follet. Similar to a succubus, a soul sent back from the dead to do God's penance, but instead attacks people for vengeance.
Oh.
Usually...
That's a more aggressive Will-O-the-Wisp then, right?
Well, according to my research, it's usually just harmless, mischievous acts.
Oh, okay.
Also, sometimes it sucks the blood out of children.
Right, like succubus is not really
I don't know why it's always
harmless.
so like...
Yeah.
No, he does nothing.
Yeah.
He consumes your brain.
That's because Steve...
Countless Steves
yeah.
across the globe.
Yeah.
In Brazil, boitata, fiery serpent, literally a giant snake. It has fiery eyes.
Yeah.
During the day, it cannot see. During the night, it can see everything. And it roams around looking for animals and corpses to eat.
Ugh.
But not the entire creature, specifically the eyes. For you see, boitata got its fiery eyes from consuming the one thing that it loves most, eyes.
Eyeballs.
In Colombia, La Candelea, ghost of a vicious... oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Ghost of a vicious grandmother who raised her grandchildren without morals.
Ooh.
And as such, they became thieves and murderers. In the afterlife, the grandmother's spirit was condemned to wander the world surrounded in flames.
That's awesome.
So somebody saw... just like a little fart of fire in a bog. And
yeah.
like, probably a lady who's cursed to roam the world.
Because she raised her grandchildren without morals.
Coated in flames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probsies.
Okay, let's get into some pop culture.
Okay.
It's very brief.
Yeah.
John Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost, compared the devil leading Eve to the apple to the Willow the Wisp.
That makes sense.
Yeah, some sort of temptating
Yeah.
beast.
Temptating Eve.
Temptating.
Yeah.
It's in the first chapter of Dracula.
Okay.
Chew on that.
Okay.
Of course, you pointed out that Maria is described as a will-o'-the-wisp
Yep.
in The Sound of Music. It appears in Castlevania, video game.
There is a lot of overlap between ours today.
Really?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. And get this. Now, this was mind-blowing. Ghost-type Pokemon can learn a move called Will-O-Wisp, which burns the opponent.
Oh, that's cool.
It appears as a benevolent creature in the Pixar movie Brave, leading the living to their destinies.
Oh.
And also, I believe that in The Legend of Zelda,
Okay.
there are ghosts called Poes, which carry lanterns of fire. I think they are connected to the Will-O-Wisp, and yet Wikipedia didn't get that. Now you tell me who's smart.
Well, guess what? That's another connection, because there's something that my Wikipedia left out.
What? Mm-hmm. Get John Wikipedia on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, that is the Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah.
Alluring.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so now we know what it is.
Yeah, totally.
But also there's always the lingering doubt. Does science completely explain everything that people have experienced? Maybe that is one of the rational explanations for the reason why we see sort of like intermittent bursts of flame that dissipate. But what about the ones that people have reported? The ones that appear to be consistently leading you down a path.
Right, they're moving like
yes
in a pattern.
yes
Yeah.
that is not covered.
Yeah, I know.
So the Will-O-the-Wisp may be out there. Careful, all you travelers of the night. Mm-hmm. As we are.
Watch yourself around bogs.
Now, we read this as a cautionary tale because Kristen and I are travelers of the night.
That's right.
And it's important we read that.
We do a lot of nighttime marsh work. So it's important for us to be on the lookout for the Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah, I can be found most evenings strolling around my local bog.
Yeah.
Straight boggin.
We're boggers.
Or straight boggin.
Yeah.
All right, that's the Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah.
Kristen.
Okay.
Your entry for the Guide to the Unknown.
Mine is a familiar one, but I really enjoy it. The Mothman.
Ooh! Pumped about this.
Okay, good. All right. So the Mothman is said to have originated in West Virginia. Oh, all right.
Real quick, can I tell you what I know about it?
Yes.
There's a movie called The Mothman Prophecies.
Yes. That's it?
Richard Gere is in it.
Yes. And who else? Deborah Messing. Yes.
All right, that's everything I know. I already know a little more than I thought I knew. Yeah. I've never seen it.
Than you think.
I've never seen it. I'm aware of it as being a cryptid, right?
What about Jeepers Creepers?
Jeepers as a Mothman?
Basically, that's what I was talking about. Is left out of Wikipedia. Jeepers Creepers is 100% based on the Mothman. We know. Just call him Jeepers. Jeepers. It doesn't say that, but yeah, he's totally a Mothman.
I have no idea what a Mothman is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So
I will say though that Jeepers Creepers 3 is coming out, and on Facebook it was advertised to me with the creeper. It was like a behind the scenes shot of him up on wires. Jeeper. Yeah. Jeepers. And it's obviously because they're doing wire work because he's supposed to be able to fly.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah, and I commented. I said, this movie looks like shit. I can see the wires. Yeah. Someone commented and said yeah, no wonder you can see the wires. It's not from the movie, you idiot. Oh, you got me.
You've got me there.
Oh, man, I feel so stupid.
That's amazing. But, he's saying the exact same thing about you. He's like, this guy commented on it. It's a pre-production picture.
Pre-production, as in before the production had started, you goob!
Oh, God. So, the Mothman originated, or did he, in West Virginia in 1966.
Okay.
Well, so the Mothman is this, there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's variation in what they say it looks like.
Sure.
It's like a humongous winged creature.
Oh.
Some things say that it looks, or some people have said that it looks like a man with wings or whatever. Some people say it looks like a moth, hence the name, and doesn't have a neck and stuff, so it's just this thing with a humongous wingspan. And then there's
I'm nice when you get to know me.
I know, you're just ugh. Like Humpty Dumpty with wings. But like a moth. A moth is just an oval with wings. But the wingspan is supposed to be humongous. And some things are reported there being weird hang danglers from its mouth. So one of the proposed explanations is that it's just a really huge owl with a snake in its mouth. Because it has a wiggly mustache, I guess.
I guess, what is it? Is it Occam's razor? The simplest solution is often the... Yeah. Giant owl with a snake in its mouth.
That's the simplest we got, I guess. The simplest...
Which is literally somebody just very simplistically going, owl plus snake might be shaped like that.
Right.
That's it. It just been
100%.
What if they were really close to each other?
100%. So there is a variety of heron or crane, which is basically the same thing, that can be humongous. They can be 6 or 7 feet tall and have a 10-foot wingspan.
Really?
But they're South African.
Oh, okay.
So people have speculated that it's something like that because there is this enormous bird. Does that sound scary?
Yeah.
That's
birds are freaky.
Birds freak me out. Yeah. That's big birds like that. I don't really give a shit about a pigeon or something. But big birds like that are way too big. I can't with that. Although I did almost, it's a total you had to be there thing, which I realized even in the moment, so I didn't do it. But there was a pigeon on our not on our roof, but where you can see through the window, and then there's another little roofy thing below it.
Yeah.
And I was that pigeon's head is way too big for its body. And I was oh man, I have to take a picture and show everybody. And then I was no.
You're like Brian Fellows. Your job. You're constantly just being That bird is looking at me.
No. That was at home.
That bird is looking at me.
Those birds, though, oh, when the time comes, listeners/viewers, it's a seasonal thing, but there are vultures that come hang out on the railing outside my job's huge windows, and they're so freaky, they just stare inside. Ugh, anyway. Yeah, I don't like those birds. They're like dinosaurs.
Yeah, they are.
It's freaky. Anyway,
They're descendants of dinosaurs.
Yes,
yeah.
but that looks like a dinosaur living today. Like a giant vulture like that. I don't like it. I came around. I just realized. I say that knee jerk. I remember I kind of came around on it.
You forgot you actually like them.
I don't love them, right? Well, because my knee jerk
I forgot. I disagree with everything I just said.
No, they're freaky, but I got used to them. I just remembered.
All right.
I bet I'll have the same adjustment when it happens again.
It would probably be jarring.
I bet I'm going to be horrified, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, they're those like gross birds that hang out outside. I can handle that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so there is that's an idea, is that it's like this huge actual bird. So I think that's more the Occam's razor thing. However, I mean, it seems insanely large, and there's no bird of that breed or anything in the area.
Yeah.
Like that's not native at all to America, let alone like the area, West Virginia. So, another theory about it is that it's a bird that's been mutated by like nuclear waste.
Ooh.
Or chemical waste, maybe not nuclear, chemical waste.
Okay.
And, so something that kind of supports that is that it was in the area of, an abandoned TNT plant. And there was like a lake or a river by it, and fishermen there said that there were just like chemicals abandoned in the water. And it was named one of the most polluted places in America or something. Like it was like all screwed up.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, maybe it's a sort of like, it'd be an insane mutation. This thing is supposed
for it to grow like
incredibly
many times
enormous.
the size of any of those local birds.
Yeah, completely. But the first sighting of it was 5 guys digging a grave at night. So that must have been quite a scene. Again, it was in 1966.
Huh? Oh.
It was supposed to be like 6 feet tall and have like a 10-foot wingspan. Like,
yeah, why are there 5 guys digging a grave at night?
I thought the same thing. Doesn't it seem like a lot of guys be digging a grave?
Feels like
in 1966, didn't they already have some machinery for this?
In 1966?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So they're just like 5 guys who all had to pitch in with shovels?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Seems odd, right?
Yeah. Seems like they'd all be in each other's way.
I was saying the same thing. I was like, that seems like an inefficient way to dig a grave.
Also, maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like grave digging is a job for the day.
Oh, yeah. I would. Well, actually, I think there was a thing about not doing it in the day. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I think they do it at night sometimes. I don't know if that was like an old, like, superstition sort of thing, which would seem to be the opposite. But, like, I think there was a thing about digging graves at night.
Boy, how do you end up with the job of being a grave digger?
I don't know. Like anything. Like, everybody has some job to do. I guess you just don't mind it for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean to say that
sound like a treat,
whoever
though.
does it is obviously a weirdo or something.
No, I know.
But I'm saying, like, it seems like there would have to be some story of being like, and that's how I became a grave digger.
Yeah.
Unless it's just like, I don't know, like everyone in my family did it. We're in like the sort of like funeral home business. But it's like, how do you just book, like, I was
Dad's like, I need a job.
Yeah.
I can do that job, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess for some people, they just like, whatever, I don't care.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Not me, but. And then the second sighting was 2 couples were out together in the same car for a joyride. And they were in the area of the abandoned TNT plant, which, by the way, they said that the Mothman lived in the abandoned TNT plant.
That's cool.
Isn't that totally awesome?
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like a really cool place for a monster to live.
That's like something that was something made up, but like that's like something from a comic book or something.
Yeah.
Like there's like a monster that lives in the abandoned TNT plant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy in the dynamite factory?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a 7-foot tall bird.
Right. So, so these 2 couples are out joyriding together in the area of that plant. Some people said they pulled over for like a lover's lane situation, which is so weird because at least one of the couples was married. I can't remember off the top of my head. And, like, presumably lived together. Like, why are you going to make out together in a car?
I don't like that you can just pull over anywhere and have a lover's lane situation.
I know.
I feel like lover's lane is supposed to be the name of a road you're on that overlooks the town. I don't like that someone's like, any lane can be lover's lane.
Ew.
That's gross.
I think that anything that's abandoned can be a lover's lane.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think if it's an area
that's... Lover's lane means?
If it's going to be an area that's not trafficked.
I thought it was like the spot that everyone knows is Lover's Lane.
It could be, but
maybe it's not literally called Lover's Lane, but
right.
It like overlooks the city and everyone knows that it's kind of like where teenagers go to neck.
See, I don't even think about it as being like a pretty area that overlooks the city.
So much more
I think of
insidious
it as
when it's like, we'll pull over by the old dynamite factory.
100%. I think of it as being an area that people aren't going to be driving by a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a creepy road or something. Yeah. Like, I don't think of it as like Lookout Point.
I know just where to go where that giant mutated bird lives.
So, I don't know if they were just driving in that area or if they had pulled over to Neck.
Yeah.
But then they were driving and they said this giant bird creature started driving over the car and like enough that they could see it, I guess. Or, yeah.
Flying.
Yeah. And so they're like, oh man, they're like, lose it, Ted! Or whatever. So he started like driving really fast. And
I'm trying to lose it. Yeah. The fellas at school are going to keep making fun of me.
Yeah, they're grown-ups. They were like married. Although maybe in 66 they like got married like really young.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so they said they went up to 100 miles an hour and that it kept pace with them.
Wow.
This thing was just flying over their car and they're like, eh. And then not long after that, the wife of one of the couples had a nervous breakdown. Her dad had to bring her to the hospital.
Wow.
Because she was so stressed out about the whole thing. It completely freaked her out because they thought that they lost it at one point and then it found them again. And started flying over them again.
That is one of those things that, like, if you encountered something that was so seemingly impossible, I feel like it would... One of the primary things that would happen is it would, in a moment, shatter your sanity.
Oh, I'd go quite mad.
Yeah.
And so the first newspaper report that was published about that, it was in the Point Pleasant Register, November 16th, 1966. 3 6s in that, I just noticed. And it was titled, Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something.
It was in the...
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the name of the publication?
The Point Pleasant Register.
The Point Pleasant Register?
Yeah.
Can you read me the headline again?
Couples see man-sized bird, ... creature, ... something. Yeah, I didn't look this up. It was just in...
I'm just curious. I wonder if we can find, like, a microfiche.
Yeah.
Wow. This is cool. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really look like a newspaper.
No.
Couple see man-sized bird, creature, something.
We'll go to the images thing. Maybe that's just like the, for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
Transcription.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Here's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so now I'll just read the text.
Yeah.
It was a bird, or something. It definitely wasn't a flying saucer. 2 Point Pleasant couples said today they encountered a man-sized, bird-like creature in the TNT area about midnight last night. Sheriff's deputy and city police went to the scene about 2 o'clock this morning, but were unable to spot anything. But the 2 young men telling their story this morning were dead serious and asserted they had not been drinking. Steve Mallet of 3305 Jackson Avenue and Roger Scarberry of this address.
It was the Scarberry gal who had a nervous breakdown.
Really? Mm-hmm. Described the thing as being about 6 or 7 feet tall, having a wingspan of 10 feet and red eyes about 2 inches in diameter and 6 inches apart. It was like a man with wings, Mallet said. It wasn't like anything you'd see on TV or in a monster movie. The men and their wives were in Scarberry's car between 11:30 p.m. and midnight when they spotted the creature near the old power plant adjacent to the old National Guard Armory buildings. The creature was seen standing on 3 occasions and was described as being extremely fast. It flew about 100 miles an hour in flight, but was a clumsy runner. Deputy Miller Halstead said he had seen dust in the vicinity of a coal field, but it could have been caused by the bird, he said. I'm a hard guy to scare, Scarberry said, but last night I was getting out of there. They did just that, but the thing followed them. They said it was hovering the car, apparently gliding, until they reached the National Guard Armory on Route 62. We went downtown, turned around, and went back, and there it was again. It seemed to be waiting on us. He said the light gray-like creature then scurried through a field. It had also flown on top of the car. It is apparently afraid of light, and maybe it thought it was scaring us off. I won't read anymore. This is Eyes Glow Red.
That's what I was about to say. So you were talking about something glowing red or things like light reflecting on things making it look like they glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then that reminds me, where Will Smith came into the story, Will the Smith, was that, and I'm not gonna go too far into this because I think we'll do this another day, but that Men in Black came to visit people who have said that they saw the Mothman.
Cool.
Yep, totally. So some reports of the Men in Black are the Men in Black that you that are like in the movie Men in Black, where it's like government types.
Yeah.
Some are like the Men in Black that are like weird alien types that communicate with you telepathically.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
All right.
There are 2 types of Men in Black.
Interesting.
In Legend Worlds. So that's part of it. And then the other thing is that right around the time, so it was like it was only for like a year that people, and specifically in West Virginia, were seeing the Mothman. Like there are a bunch of different sightings, like a rash of Mothman sightings, basically. And then not long after that, there was the collapse of the Silver Bridge in West Virginia, which killed like a ton of people. It was like a bridge that cars drive on.
Wow.
And it collapsed and like a ton of people died. And so it's kind of said that the Mothman is like a harbinger of death.
Oh.
And doom and stuff like that.
So they don't think he caused it. They think that he...
I think some people think that he caused it, and some people think that
he was perhaps drawn to the area.
Right, exactly. And so then there are pictures that you can look up of, like, the Mothman at Chernobyl, the Mothman by the towers on 9/11. Like...
I don't like it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And, like, it'll just be, like, a shape... You know, like next to things like this. And then there are images where they like doctored it. Yeah. But they're like, this is probably, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So that is part of the Mothman mythos now. So, that like, he could be like bringing in doom, drawn to doom, harbinger of doom.
So the Mothman Prophecies, the movie, does that literally refer to the idea that this is a creature that is a harbinger of doom?
I have seen that before, but I really don't remember it. I saw it like forever ago.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be pretty bad. And I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it had something to do with like numerology or something. I guess I'm wrong about that.
I mean, maybe. I haven't seen it in forever, so I really don't remember. And then I also found that so like Point Pleasant is very into the whole Mothman thing. They like the legend of it. There's a statue of the Mothman in Point Pleasant. They have like a Mothman festival every year.
What?
There's a Mothman museum that has a 24/7 moth cam. So you can see people taking selfies with the Mothman statue.
All right.
It didn't work when I went on it today, though, so I don't know if that moth cam is, like, really highly maintained.
Mothman Museum moth cam?
Yep.
Moth cam.
Maybe it's just my computer, but...
The word moth is getting hard to say.
Moth.
All of a sudden. It's starting to lose meaning,
yeah.
You know? The moth cam appears to be down.
Yeah, see, that's what happened to me, too.
Yeah, all right.
Moth cam down. And... Yeah, I think it's... for some reason, I find the Mothman super compelling. And I guess a lot of other people do, too, because I feel like it's one of the more well-known and popular cryptid stories.
Do you believe in the Mothman?
I mean... I don't know. I guess not.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really... I don't know. I think that these people saw something. I don't think that they all got together and they were like, let's hoax it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I really don't... I do believe that there are people that are very opportunistic, and I do believe there are a lot of liars out there.
Yeah.
But I also don't necessarily believe that people spontaneously just go like, oh, hey, got a really cool idea for something that we should just all pretend we saw.
Yeah, I don't think so. I know that's a theory that some people have. They're like, well, it's kind of like a sleepy town. Like, there wasn't a lot to do at that time. But I don't really think so.
Yeah, I guess the next question would be, like, who would benefit from that lie? Like, did somehow these people
and, like,
who are like, a Mothman flew above our car at 100 miles an hour, that doesn't make them automatically rich.
Yeah,
I guess
but it makes
maybe
them get in the
attention.
newspaper and attention or something. But I feel like it would have come out. I feel like if the town was really like, let's keep this going, like, whatever, like, someone would say something about it. If anything, like, I don't know, like, just, like, a humongous bird. I really don't know. Like, but it is weird how so many people have reported the scope as being huge, but it could be that kind of thing where it's like, there's one story where, who even knows, I'm making it up, but Shadow made it appear huger, like, something made it appear huger, and that story was obviously in the news and everything, and then it's in people's minds.
Right.
And then when they see a bird that's kind of big, they blow it up in their own minds. Like, not even deliberately, just like your imagination takes over, possibly, or something.
I would also posit a theory that you've got 4 people in the car. One person sees something that startles them. Communicates to the other 3, like, oh my god, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
No, what? I saw a giant bird.
Yeah.
It looked like a man. I don't know what it was. The other 3 of them never saw it, but maybe they see flits of wings. Maybe they see... parts of something that they now imagine to be a small part of a much larger whole. Now, all of a sudden, all 4 of them agree. But really, it was one person who saw something crazy.
Well, maybe. I mean, there's no reason to think that.
No, I agree. I'm not trying to discount it outright.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take the story that we have in front of us and posit a possible explanation.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, I guess in a lot of myth hunting and ghost hunting and stuff, there are people that try to discredit every possible solution so that in the hopes that there will be something left over that they can't disprove.
Right.
And I wonder, though, like in this case, I think it's awesome, but you just can't discount the concept of how powerful hysteria is.
Oh, totally.
If all of a sudden the driver of the car is gunning it at 100 miles an hour, insisting that there's a 6-foot monster flying above the car.
Well, that's the thing, too. I was about to say, the fact that it's above the car, I think that there's a lot to the idea that they saw a part of something and they got the impression that it was huger and spanning the entire car.
Maybe it was many somethings.
Yeah.
Right? Many small.
I think that
it was like a bunch of bats.
Also be,
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, the owl theory is...
Sure.
Yeah, but how huge would that owl be?
So in pop culture, is it just the Mothman Prophecies?
No, there's the Mothman Prophecies, but there's not that much. Mothman Prophecies, I am positive that Jeepers Creepers is based on this.
Why?
Because it's like a giant flying man who's flying with their car at one point.
Yeah, but it seems like there's more to the Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, but I think he has his roots in Mothman.
You think so?
I'm positive. Google Jeepers Creepers Mothman, see what happens.
Okay, let's do it.
Isn't he flying directly over their car for a while?
Yeah, but he's like a big bat monster creep. Oh, I didn't add Mothman. I just searched for Jeepers Creepers. What a bad name.
I know, it's so weird.
The real-life inspiration for Victor Salva's Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers, it's Mothman.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah, I guess it is frequently believed. People do think that Jeepers Creepers is based on the Mothman.
At least aspects of it, not the whole thing.
Yeah, no, because Jeepers Creepers is also about, like he eats parts of people and steals body parts and
Jeepers
stuff.
Creepers is good.
Yeah. It's written and directed by like a child molester, right? Victor Salva?
No.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. So a lot of people are like boycotting the fact that there's a new movie.
Did he make the new movie?
Yes. Now the other thing is that like supposedly he did his time. Like, if you believe in justice,
I know.
right? If you believe in law,
I have a very hard time with.
I know everybody does. And I think they should.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Apparently, he's been permitted in whatever structure of he's working within to be working in Hollywood with actors. And I don't know. But
that's such a tough thing.
That's it is, and I'm not going to.
The Allen thing, Roman Polanski.
But I'll tell you this: whether or not Jeepers Creepers is based on the Mothman, are you aware of the other thing that it is based on? And I say this because
Jeepers Creepers is based on.
Yeah,
I think I am, but tell me. There
was. At the very beginning of Jeepers Creepers, Justin
Long
Hoffman. Or is very close to Mothman. Justin Long.
And awfully close to Dustin Hoffman.
You're right.
Awfully close. Strangely close.
Yeah. So he and his sister in the movie.
Katherine Heigl. Right? Is it?
What?
Is it Katherine Heigl?
I have no idea. Are driving down a long straight road in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, a big, dusty, dirty truck flies down the highway behind them, pulls right up on their bumper. Aggressively. So they wave him around. They drive off to the side of the road. He keeps going.
Yeah.
Drives off into the horizon. They lose sight of him. A while later, they're driving, and all of a sudden, there's an old farmhouse on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And as they're driving past it, they see the truck parked around to the side of the house, and the driver of the truck is removing something from the back and dropping it in a hole in the ground. And it looks a lot like a body. And as they're driving past, they're staring at him, and this is Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers turns and watches them and just stands watching them as they continue to drive past. And he's obviously marking them, watching them, making a note of them, feeling threatened by them, feeling like he has to get them. And they are terrified. They're in the middle of nowhere, nothing to do. That is something that really happened. It was on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. There was a couple driving, and they saw...
By the way, not Katherine Heigl.
No. Oh, no?
No.
They saw a big, dusty old truck off the side of a farmhouse. Somebody removing what looked like a human body from the back of it. And the person removing the body turned and saw their car. So what this couple did was...
Hell to the no.
They stayed in the area. They waited. They waited for the truck to go away. They doubled back and went to the farmhouse to try to confirm whether or not it was a body.
Bold.
How bold is that?
They're really brave.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I don't know. You'll have to watch Unsolved Mysteries to figure it out.
No problem.
I don't know. One of the coolest horror concepts I've ever seen.
Yeah, I completely agree. That part in Jeepers Creepers is like...
Sort of just staring, watching you from like 100 yards away. But it doesn't matter how far away he is. It feels like he's already completely got you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Jeepers Creepers, The Mothman Prophecies. There's a sci-fi movie called The Mothman. Unsolved Mysteries segment about Mothman. Castlevania, Dawn of Sorrow. And then later again in Castlevania, Portrait of Ruin.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Now those are some good games.
I'm sure. Well, the Mothman is featured in them.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
So that is a story of the Mothman.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, what say you out there in Legend World?
Yes.
I think you used that term before and I really liked it.
Legend World.
Yeah, something that people believe in Legend World.
Yeah.
What do you guys believe out there in Legend World? Do you believe in the Mothman? Do you believe in the Will-O-the-Wisp?
Yeah.
Let us know about it.
Yeah.
You can find us all over the internet.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen. And like by let us know about it, you can either just like write to us, or if you have articles and things you want to send, do that. Because I just love reading about this stuff.
Or if you have sightings.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Perhaps periodically we should do some sort of like, if we do get feedback from people out there in Legend World.
Listener mail.
Right? Listener mail. Sightings from people out there.
Yeah.
Follow-ups on our stories if they provide new information that we were previously unaware of.
I would love that.
That we would love to know.
Yeah.
But yes, please do get in touch with us if you have anything to share.
Yep.
If you enjoyed the show, the best thing you can do for us is get out there and share the show with other people. Mm-hmm. Review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, what have you. Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe on YouTube. Literally tell your friends about it. Spread the word on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Share posts about us. We would love to see them. I want to build a fun community of people that...
I really do too, because I really cannot get enough of this stuff.
Yeah.
I would really, really like to have a community of people who we all talk about this and share it and everything.
Yeah,
I
want to talk turkey about some myths and monsters and relics and ruins.
Yeah,
cults.
totally.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so you can follow me there. I said where you can follow me, right?
I think so. At Haunted Sponge.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen. And then we also have show accounts. So it's GTTU Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find Guide to the Unknown on Facebook as well.
Yes. So please do that. Thank you guys so much for listening. We just hope that you had a good time.
Yeah.
Really more
and
than the rest of it. Yeah. Go to Patreon, check us out. Mm-hmm. But until next we meet for another entry of Guide to the Unknown, we must travel.
Back to Netherworld, go we. Good night.
That's what Jamiroquai does.
Oh my god, you're right.
Right? He was like... And then he scoots forward.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Oh, we're living in. Kind of dances backwards. Cool, good show.
Yeah, that was good. 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 That was good.